When you are in the reclaim phase of your journey, and remember, you may come into this phase many, many times. As the spiral goes around, you'll hit it again, but with different perspective, different life experiences, and different skill sets to be able to handle exactly what goes on in your life in that phase, because the point of reclaim is bringing you out of protection, out of instability, and back into safety. The body cannot heal if it feels that it needs to be protected. And we understand that at the level of the cell and the mitochondria as we review the cell danger response, and we understand it very much so in all the talk these days on regulating your nervous system. And I completely agree. So when we talk about nervous system regulation and how to reclaim the nervous system, you need to understand very basically that there are two main parts to your nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is that overdrive. I describe it just like gas pedal and the brake pedal. That's what I think is the easiest way or the easiest analogy. It's that push and pull that we're supposed to remain in balance with. And with the life that we live on the planet today, most of us know that this is probably the hardest job that we have, because I see patients all the time who actually may have it pretty good. They may not have financial concerns, maybe a happy, balanced relationship, and yet they are still feeling almost like unexplainable, low-lying anxiety. And what I believe most of this, or a lot of this, is due to is a combination of overstimulation with information at a humanity level that is not stable, whether it's the world around us and wars and politics and religious differences and the interest in that some powers, I call it the darkness, has to keep us disconnected. That is a big global approach to nervous system dysregulation, where we are almost being told subconsciously to fight with each other. And that can register at the cellular level, and even in an emotionally stable, healthy human, as a disconnect, which can trigger nervous system dysregulation. So whether you're somebody who feels pretty good and may have these types of things impacting you, or you're like all of us, where life brings in its stress, whether it's family stress or health stressors or financial stressors, it doesn't matter. And what happens is you end up living more in sympathetic, or a sort of balance, a state that's out of balance, that's overcompensating, constantly trying to bring you back into more of a parasympathetic rest and digest state. So we find, and I find, I spend a lot of time and energy, whether it is with Jinshin or acupuncture or deeper meditation or devices aimed to help the nervous system. There has to be in every single one of us a focused intent on regulating and restoring and reclaiming that balance that is a healthy nervous system. So there are many ways to enhance vagal tone, and there are devices on the market that are both direct or indirect stimulators of vagus tone, which basically means the more you activate that vagal nerve, the more you're going to increase parasympathetic, the rest and digest side that we all need to help us deal with this overreactive sympathetic that we're living in. So some of the direct ones will work direct, like right on your neck, and you can wear them for 15, 20 minutes a day. There's indirect, like a vibrational device that I like called the Apollo Neuro. Many options. So a lot of times it just depends on you, your lifestyle, what feels best, what works best. Sometimes the direct stimulators can feel a little bit strong. Sometimes the indirect ones either agitate people or just don't feel like they're doing much. So you may have a trial period where you experience different ones and see, but the biggest point I want to teach you about is that it doesn't happen quickly. So you're not going to just wear this or use this device or do this program, which we'll talk about in a second, once. It's going to have to be cumulative. Typically takes about 90 days of utilizing these techniques to see a significant response, but sometimes it can be really significant. There's data with BrainTap and Apollo Neuro and a lot of these other devices that are showing a rebalance in the brain of of your autonomic nervous system, of the parasympathetic sympathetic balance. It's going to take time, grace, understanding. You may not see progression immediately. And I found that to be the case with a lot of patients when I have them in this reclaim phase. It's us sort of pushing them to hang in there because the results kind of sneak up. They start feeling better. Most of the time, they don't even tie it to all the work we did in reclaim. They think it's something else that they're doing at the time. There are also several online programs that you can look into, and we can list a few of them below, but they are 15 minutes or so as well of interactive on the computer that will walk you through exercises. There are many body exercises, humming, vocal toning, different types of things you can do to get back in your body. Somatic movement can help vagal tone. There are almost limitless choices. It's more, A, finding what you like, what works with your body, and then B, committing to a time period, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, depending on how off your system is, understanding that you may not see results immediately and you need to be patient. So reclamation of the nervous system, I cannot stress it enough. It is the first phase, plus it is that center of the spiral. It is that place you go when you need to restore safety. It's the place you go ideally from an empowered space instead of just a chaotic, dragging, kicking and screaming survival place. You can start from both. Remember, even if you're chaotic, screaming, survival, you can make a choice to be more embodied, to be more in control, to be more safely choosing that state, that stable state, because the goal is to expand out from it in a beautifully orchestrated healing journey. And remember, inputs from your environment, training ourselves, learning things, re-looking at our relationships, at our career, at our life in general, may bring us right back to that spot. That's on purpose because it's a spiral. We're coming back to reclamation from a higher place. That means we have higher places we can go in this lifetime.